Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, a recovering Democrat, Saadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. Yes, he is. He is back, and I don't know how happy he is to be back, but I guess he'll get into that sooner or later throughout this program here. But I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, Big Giant, thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. And sometimes I share the link. If I share the link and your profile looks like this, please show me this. If you're not comfortable, you can go back to that. There's no, especially if I've never seen you on here before, I absolutely must see your face. Also, in the comment section, it's not that we disagree, it's how we disagree. So let's be as respectful as possible. Also, here on the panel, let's remember the same thing. Let's be respectful as we can. Now, today we're going to be talking about Representative Jasmine Crockett from Dallas, Texas, pulling back after being betrayed by fellow Democrats. Of course, I'll give you guys all the details and we'll have a conversation about that. So in the meantime, Donovan, tell us how happy you are to be back.
Yeah. It's great to be in America. I was in a land of paradise, beautiful women, beautiful people, and now I'm back here. Welcome to the Demetra K show, you guys. I am really glad to be back. It's good to get back into the grind. Do us a favor. We have a banner that's flowing at the very bottom there. If you guys want to contribute to the show, that is one way to keep the content creator motivated. You can do it by PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, such and such and such and such. We really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get that on Google Play, Apple Store. I believe I haven't been doing the update. I only got back Thursday, so please bear with me there. They still have spots to the African trip going. I believe they're going to Ghana. I don't know how many seats are left. Before I left for the DR, there was 14 seats left. There might be less than that now. So if you're still interested, go and check out the African Diaspora News Channel. You can subscribe on YouTube and on the app. I believe the sale is over now. So the discount sale might be over, but don't quote me, but just double check on that. A lot of stuff going on.
The last day of the month.
Yeah, last day of the month. I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. And also, there's a lot going on in the African diaspora. As you guys know, the Haitians have been taken off of the protected status, and they have to get ready to go back to where they're going. Donald Trump is doing, exactly what he said he was going to do. I don't know why these people thought he was bluffing. I don't get that. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the African diaspora, and you guys need to pay attention now. All this, well, we're next, that's BS, because you got to have a place to deport us to, and we don't know where we're from. Thank you, white man. But again, it's decent to be back, but again, we have to be relevant to what is going on around us. Again, just like in that great movie, Which Way Is Up, Richard Pryor said it best. That ain't none of your concern. That's between the Mexican and the white folks. You're going to be the first Negro to see your own funeral on TV. Which Way Is Up? Go check it out. Predicted years ago. So this is going to be interesting. Jasmine Crockett, she's been quiet for a while, but in this subject, I'm going to say this from my part of what I need to say. What was she expecting anything different? When the white supremacy is done with its tools, it breaks them.
Absolutely. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Hello to everybody. And Jesse, I may share the link depending on how much time we have. Give everybody a moment or two to come up here and speak their piece. But let's see how we're moving along. So anyway, of course, you guys know who Jasmine Crockett is. We call her Sister Girl. I call her Sister Girl Sassafras, but she is a representative from Dallas who I think she went to Congress, I think 2023, somewhere around there. So she hasn't been there that long. But before that, she's done some politics locally, and she's a lawyer and things like that. We've also learned that she's highly educated, even from high school. Her parents spent, from what I understand, like $30,000 a year for her to go to school. So she's, educated, if you want to call it that. But nevertheless, most of us learned a lot about Jasmine Crockett when we saw her, right? She was doing all these sound bites. And then I think a year or so ago, she got into a back and forth with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was a big time MAGA conservative, if you will. Y'all heard it when she called her a bad built, bleached, blonde, butch body, right? And when Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about her eyelashes and all this other stuff. And from that point, a lot of people's like, whoa, who is this, right? Oh, I like the way she talking and this, that, and the other. Then, of course, we would see her, you know, on different sound bites and things. She's infamously called Trump Putin's 304, and y'all can do what you want to do with that. And, you know, just a lot of things that, I don't know, a lot of people would say was symbolism, but like, what is she really doing right now? I took the liberty not too long ago. It's like, okay, well, let me see exactly what Jasmine Crockett has been up to in Congress. Well, I saw a lot of wording that basically said that she had put efforts toward this particular legislation or, you know, championing this, but I haven't seen anything like says, oh, okay, this is Jasmine's here. This is Jasmine's here. This is what she's done, right? So anyway, not too long ago, she was running to be the House Oversight Committee, I guess the top position in that, but she came in last. And I think we talked about this not too long ago. She came in last, right? Now, this Oversight Committee was for Joe Biden, right? The Republicans are putting forth this hearing that they want to find out when did you know it and what did you know in regard to the White House with Joe Biden and his alleged mental decline, right? So for the Democrats, they're putting together their oversight committee, and she was trying to be the head of that. Well, she came in last. Now, it sounds like she came in last for like another smaller race within the House. So with that, she says it was clear by the numbers that my style of leadership is not exactly what they were looking for. And so I think that it was fair for me to then push forward and try to rebuke that. So it wasn't fair, right? Is what she was saying. It wasn't fair for her to try to push forward and say, I'm going to do it anyway. Then she also said, I accept that. And I think that you have to make sure that you're going to be able to work with leadership if you're going to be in a leadership position. I think the people may be disappointed, but at the end of the day, we've got to move forward in this country. We've got to move forward for this world. And I don't want to be an impediment. And so she also promised to be loud and proud and a team player for the Democrats. Now, specifically in regards to her pulling back, it says Representative Jasmine Crockett told the Griot that she's stepping back from some Democratic Party activities because she felt her significant contributions, raising millions and campaigning at over 100 events and investing both time and treasure, weren't being recognized as a team player by her colleagues in the caucus after coming in last in the primary vote for ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. Now, it sounds like there were some rumblings behind the scene that maybe it got back to her that they were saying she wasn't a team player, but she's saying, me? She said that she's donated a lot of her own money and time, you know, to causes for the Democrats. So it also says, and this is a quote from her, it was frustrating to hear over and over again that I wasn't a team player. Now, as a result, she decided to pivot her focus away from high-profile party duties in Washington, and instead, okay, she's going to concentrate on grassroots efforts, especially engaging Black churches. Now, to me, that was very telling. And devote more time to her constituents in Texas who have urged her to be present back home, right? Now, that was also some kind of, I guess, pushback that they're like, hey, and that's kind of been true with a lot of the Democrats. I would imagine maybe Republicans as well, that these people haven't really been present in their districts because they've been Trump, this, that, and the other. While they have jobs to do in Washington, they also have jobs to do at home, right? They got to be present. So she's saying, okay, great, I'm going to pull back from some of those duties, I guess feeling betrayed and slighted. And she's just going to focus her energy on the Black church. Now, to me, as I said, that was very telling because as I always say, the Black church and the Democrats are one and the same, right? They all kind of share the same brain, the same ideology. Let's keep these Black people, not all Black churches, I want to say that, but let's keep these Black people asleep, keep them on the plantation. Let's tell them what to think and not how to think and things like that. So she's going to go work with the Black church. So with that, I understand her being hurt because they put a key in her back to go out there, round Black people up and make them think you really fighting for them. Because see, historically speaking, just looking back, we've always thought that whenever these Black politicians especially get out there and they got a little cadence going on, they sound like Barack Obama and Martin Luther King Jr., oh, they really doing something. but they weren't really doing anything. So I think when they said that she wasn't a team player, I think they meant that, well, you know, we sent you out there to get Black people on board, but you kind of turned them off. You know, you're kind of turning them off. So you didn't really, you know, and I'm speculating here, but you didn't really do what we sent you out there to do. And we didn't really want you to do anything. Now, as I said on TikTok, and it went extremely viral, I basically said, well, you know, you've been acting like a clown. The job of a clown is to entertain, right? To run around the circus is not to run the circus. So I think that's the epiphany that she's having. So we're going to get into that. Has Jasmine Crockett learned her lesson? Is more of this to come from other Black Democrats? Will they finally realize, hey, I've been used? Donovan?
The answer to that question is absolutely not. They do not care. As long as the white envelopes keeps getting passed to them, that's all they really care about. Again, you guys saw the video of Jamal Bryant when he was asked specifically a question of why is he supporting illegal immigration when illegal immigration directly hurts the Black community. And he passed the mic to that other guy, and the other guy was like, that's not true. You guys saw that video? We've got people that are talking about things that they have no knowledge of. Of all people who shouldn't be talking about immigration is a Jamal Bryant. And it amazes me how Black people, we as a people, follow people that have no credentials whatsoever. I'm not downing the Black church. I think it's very important, or it was important at one time in our society. But I have never attended a Black church, rarely. I think I've done it once or twice, where the pastor wasn't a pimp, a former drug dealer, or some scumbag from the earth. I've never attended something like that. I mean, a couple of them. I mean, not all of them, but majority of them, that's their testimony. Well, Jesus said, come as you are, and blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But why is it that the majority of pastors in our community have that sort of background? All he did as a pimp was, he was a pimp, was take speak with his mouth and legalized it. So, in the aspect of Black politicians, look at Karen Bass right here in Los Angeles, California. She's good at taking photo ops. She's good at doing this. But because of Democratic policy, Los Angeles alone is in a $1 billion deficit because they supported illegal immigration. And guess who suffers? The regular citizen. So now they're going to cut this program. They got to cut that program. They got to cut this program. But notice the Democratic Party has not said one thing about not supporting illegal people who shouldn't be here to begin with. These bleeding heart liberals, oh, we got to help these people. You got to help yourself first. You got to help you just do it. I mean, I'm for helping people. Don't get me wrong. But you got to help yourself first. I was just in the DR. I was bitching and moaning at the airport as they're deporting me out of the country. Because I said I was going to be there 5 days. Not one of you guys called the consulate in my behalf. Not one. But you guys are here in America. Oh, they got to stay. Oh, they got to do all this. This is Black leadership. We put everybody else before we save ourselves. And this is our problem with our Black politicians. This is a perfect time for a reset. Any politician moving forward has to understand this. Specifically, they need to understand this. If you're not going to go in there and do the job that we sent you in there to do, you're not going to be in there very, very long. I'm just going to stay because I got name recognition. Those days are over. You will be up out of there. And I know some people will say, well, Maxine Waters, she's still there. Maxine Waters works for the Hispanic community. The last election, 71% of people that voted for her are Hispanic. The Compton that we remember in the 90s is majority Hispanic now. We got to stop looking at nostalgia. Black people, we have to take care of ourselves first. That's all I'm saying. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but it is human nature to take care of yourself first.
Absolutely. Hey, Sharon. And somebody by the name of Team Jesus is saying that, we're apparently, and I'm paraphrasing because there's a couple of comments, we're a Trump channel or something like that, Republicans. See, that's when I hate when people come on here for the first time and make these assumptions. You know what they say, when you assume, I'll let you fill in the blanks. But, and he also said that we seem to always talk about Black Democrats. Yeah, we're going to talk about Black Democrats, because we know what Republicans do and how they feel about Black people. They're not making it a secret, but Black Democrats, green, red, white Democrats, they use Black people and do nothing for Black people. So yeah, we're going to hold them accountable, because that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? So I hope that helps. Let's see, get into the comments section. And I think Al said I was talking too fast. Sometimes I do that. Sister Shirley said, Jasmine needs to understand that no one gets away with anything. If she doesn't believe this, then she doesn't understand universal law. Yeah, I mean, what did you think was going to happen? You acting like a clown all the time. Nobody's going to take you seriously. They're like, she's out there and she's tap dancing and doing everything, trying to keep Black people engaged in symbolism. But when it comes time for you to really go do something, it's like, nah, we good. Go get your red wig and nose on and go do clown things, right? And I see some people saying, poor Jasmine. Poor Jasmine what? Why do y'all feel sorry for Jasmine? If y'all don't mind me asking. And how you doing, Michael? You says, Jasmine Crockett did a lot for Democrats and they took her for granted. They use her as a tool to be fragile. But my thing is, if you're so smart, don't you know when somebody using you? You should know, if not right away, eventually, right? So she set herself up for that. Like, at what point do you say, I'm going to stop helping white supremacy and trying to fool my people and actually do something for my people? See, she fell for that. While she out there calling Trump everything but a child of God and whatever the case is, she didn't start to think, well, man, is my own party taking me seriously? Or are they just using me to be out there acting a donkey all the time? I'm just asking some questions. Sister Marcella, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Long time no see. Team Jesus says, is this channel? No, I ain't gonna keep answering your stupid questions. And I mean that nicely. Caprice, how you doing? Says the sister girl actor's wearing off. Yeah, it's like, where do you go from there? I'll give y'all a perfect example. Y'all know who Amber Rose is. Amber Rose, she's Amber Rose. I guess she was a model originally. She dated Kanye West, and then she went out for MAGA, this, that, and the other. Well, one point in time, she got on Instagram, right? And she showed her bare, okay, y'all, not even her butt, but the other thing that's in the front, right? She showed that. And when I saw that, I'm like, well, where else will you go from there? You know what I mean? Where do you go? Who's going to want to hear you talk about world peace or anything, right? So you have to think about that when you're doing certain things. The representation that I'm going to put out, and they always say first impressions, that's usually it, right? So you have to think about the representation that you put out there for people to see, because if they see you acting like a donkey, you're probably not going to be able to say, okay, I'm back and I'm acting serious now. Today I'm going to talk about world. And be like, man, I remember when you was doing the most, right? So, yeah. Dwayne, how you doing? Says, we FBI are no longer listening to none of the devil's minions. None of them. Raven, how you doing? Says, Crockett wants to do some grassrooting, get with serious Black roots, people who are about FBI cash reparations. Says she ain't pay you reparations. She's not going to do that. She's going to the church. Lachey, how you doing? Says, yes, that doesn't impress us anymore. Getting our emotions riled up without actually doing much for us. As Eddie said, there is nothing for her to do when the Black mainstream understand nowadays politics. There you go. We are aware now. Faith over doubt, how you doing? Says, I'm good on Jasmine. Her sounds like someone in her party are as well. Dre, how you doing? Says, hope she got her butter biscuits or not, right? JJ says, Jasmine is a typical CBC member. Yep. Night Rider, how you doing? Let's see. Tiff, what's going on with you? Says, agree. A lot of them are felons. And who is them? Miss J, how you doing? Says, so there's no grace. No grace. Oh, got you. Oh, yeah. So you're talking about it. So no grace for what? And you're probably talking about what Donovan was talking about. So let me skip down a little bit. Hey, Edward, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brooklyn, G baby, how you doing? Says, she thought that by saying Trump and the Republicans bad with no legislation or solution that she had a chance. Is that what you're saying? Rand 64, how you doing? Says, Jesus don't love everyone, which been a lie. Preach in most churches. He also a God of judgment as well. He hates sin and is also sinners, but loves obedient to his word. Yeah, absolutely right. Shanette says, on point. Uncle G, what's going on? Says, the Democrats lost their soul when Cynthia McKinney left them. Okay, Scoop, how you doing? Says, that woman ain't stood for nothing. I'm standing for. Yep. David, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. Just trying to acknowledge everybody before I give it back to Donovan. L. Brown, what's up? He said, he right. I live in Watts, California. Linda, what's going on? He says, Jasmine all day. So, okay, you're a Jasmine supporter. And I saw somebody said, I'm sorry. Basically, Jasmine is fine. I'm not saying nothing about it. I think she's a very good-looking woman. But we need more than good looks to be in Washington. Mike Taylor, what's going on with you? Who else is on here that I did not see? H. McDaniels, did I say hello to you? Says Donovan being a pastor nowadays is the new hustle, pimp the pastor. You ain't lying. And let's see who else. Jupiter, how you doing? So Jasmine been loud and buffoonery. All the education she has didn't read the room. I think they told her to go out there and do it. You know they love when you get out there and act like you really saying something. It worked for Obama, hope and change. And nobody, as Ann Coulter said, ever asked him to define hope and change. And we all just fell out of hope and change. DC Precise, how you doing? Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Daryl, what's going on? She says, your opinion allow Kamala to win, which would mean millions more of illegals. Vote for Trump, who will deport. Vote for Trump. That's that comment. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm just reading the comment, okay? Ernest, how you doing? Says Cynthia McKinney warned us about Black politicians taking the pledge to support Israel and everybody else. But your own people, and that's what's been happening. The pastor even on it. Yeah, and a lot of people start to have that conversation out loud, like what's going on here with Israel, right? 540, how you doing? Says you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you for that. Corey says, I don't feel sorry for Sister Girl. Teal Dog, what's going on with you? Says she's realizing that the grassroots FBA aren't playing with them. So now her next trick is to try and make us believe she's with us. Don't fall for it. Yeah, I got another video coming out on African diaspora that's kind of speaking to something like that. But you're absolutely right. LG, how you doing? Says, bye-bye, baby Maxine Waters. Now y'all better stop. Go Fies, where have you been? How you doing? Says this is a MAGA channel. It's not a MAGA channel. I mean, I don't know what else to convince you guys. I'll just say this: if y'all keep saying
it's an independent thinkers channel, I can say that.
At this point, Donovan, I don't even try to care to convince people what we are not. You know, and I get that from people who are sleep sheep. You know, they want to. It's hard. Let's just keep it a buck. Per your name, the recovering Democrat, right? You're at least like, I'm recovering. We know when people are recovering, it's something that you're always doing because you could have a relapse. I don't know if you would have a relapse, but I say all that to say there's a lot of people out there that are still mentally on the Democratic plantation, and they believe that the Democrats are the party of the people. We know that the Republicans are not. We'll say that until we're blue in the face, but we as Black people have to unlearn the brainwashing that we have been under in regards to the Democrats. When you are for something, that means you're pro something. And the Democrats have not been for Black people because they have not helped move the ball for Black people. In fact, they moved it backwards for Black people and forward for everybody else. But if you want to say this is a MAGA channel, you know, I guess. Agent Black, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. You got a Sunday off. I'm so happy that you did. So you can join us here. Ange, how you doing? Says you guys are on point. And this is why Blacks voted for Trump, because Democrats have showed us that they were playing all of the migrants brought here, given free housing and benefits, and Black Americans got nothing specifically. LDRK, KR, how you doing? Big hugs to you as well. Almost done, Donovan. Charles, how you doing? And let me see here. T. Austin, what's going on with you? We're doing well. Who else haven't I seen? Genesis Parker and Male NYC Reviews. You say you need more than good looks to be in Washington, D.C., but we don't need brain cells to run this country. Okay, Carlos, how you doing? Jerron, what's going on with you? Says I just happened to click on. Yeah, he right here. You can't see him. He here. By the time 103, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Walt, you says if you say anything against Dems, you must be MAGA. We believe we deserve more from America. Hey, Herschel, Donovan.
Yeah, and it's sad, but I agree with you. Some people, it takes longer to wake up than it does others. So, God's grace to those people. Some people took the regular bus, some people took the short bus, but everybody gets to graduate, right? So, I'm starting to see people calm down and get out of their emotions, and they're starting to use logic, which I think is great. And people are, the veil has been removed now. People are seeing things for what it is. So let's talk about Jasmine Crockett. As much as we know about the white man, look at all of these Black women across the nation that have positions of power. Black Girl Magic, all those judges in Texas, Fannie Willis in DC, the Baltimore chick. I mean, we can go on and on. Old girl up in New York who was trying to get Trump. All of these people were left uncovered by the great Joe Biden who changed and, oh, he's not the same guy and all this other stuff. The proof is in the pudding. He covered everybody that had anything to do with his administration, including his brothers and sisters that most people didn't even know he had the brothers and sisters like that are still alive. And the very people that crashed out for the Democratic Party, he left them unchecked. But yet, it's just like Donald Trump said, and I am not a Donald Trump supporter. We're not a Donald Trump supporter channel. But you got to give credit where credit's due. You cannot sit here and tell me everything that this man does is wrong. I happen to believe illegal immigration affects Black people because we are at the bottom of the economic system here. So when they take those jobs are jobs that we can't get. When they run those illegals off those construction jobs, just like Brother Phil said, brothers out there, go get those jobs. Go get them. Have you guys noticed the Democrats aren't pushing back very hard at any of this? They're not. They're just letting it happen. But they're the party of the people. They're the party of union. If you're a unionist and you're for strong unions, why the hell would you let illegal workers come into the country? Doesn't that affect the union? Aren't you bringing in a new slave class? We really got to use our logic in this stuff. And what it is, sisters, as highly educated as all of these women are that have degrees, and a lot of them have law degrees, how is it that they will allow this party to use them up, and out and do nothing for their people while they're doing? It's one thing where you're doing this for the white man and you're doing something for your people. But if you look at their records, what has Jasmine Crockett done for any Black people in the District of Dallas that she represents? Absolutely nothing. What legislation has Jasmine Crockett introduced into Congress in regards to Black people? Let's go around the whole bin. Maxine Waters. What is so legislative about Maxine Waters that she's put out for Black people? Clyburn. Any of these people that have been there for years. Go look at the congressional www.congress.org. You could look at their congressional record and what they've legislated for and what they've put out. None of these people have done anything specific to Black people. So what does that tell you? I just hope Black women will stop buying into this. You don't need no Black man and all this stuff. And I'm saying that from a political aspect, because when you buy into that and you let the white man use you and your community suffers, that's a problem. We are at the bottom of the economic field. 22 million illegal people have come into this country. There is not enough sex that we can do to match these numbers. But everybody hates Trump, and I'm almost finished. Everybody hates Trump, right? Did he not win in the courts? He's been winning in the courts in cases that affect us as a people. What's the recent ruling that just happened? The 14th Amendment case, the birthright citizenship.
Yeah, well, it wasn't actually a ruling on birthrights; it was ruling on the lower courts.
Yeah, on the lower courts. But the point of the matter is, Trump is making that specific to us, not all these other groups. So you could hate Trump all you want, but the fact is, you can't tell me that everything that this man does is wrong. He is now specifying directly us. No other president has done that before. Obama didn't do it out of his own mouth. This article was for the babies of slaves, period.
Absolutely. Hey, Gearhead, how you doing? And I want to thank Scoop. Thank you so much for the donation. Love it. Appreciate you for that. He says, as FBAs, we need to stop always thinking with our feelings and emotions, start using critical thinking instead. Absolutely. That is really my platform, is to learn how to be critical thinkers and not be emotional, which is how they gotten us to this point, right? Odie Dancer, how you doing? Says, how would you push back if Republicans are the majority in the House, Senate, and Supreme Court. Well, you push back by voting in people who are going to do the right thing. So the reason why the Republicans are the majority now is because the Democrats were doing too much, right? People got tired of the influx of immigrants and the talking about mass deletion of babies and, you know, a whole host of other things that people said, okay, enough. As I always say, we need to come to the middle. We're tired of everything too far to the right. We're tired of everything too far to the left. Now, hopefully with what's going on with the right, now people start voting from common sense, okay, and say, okay, let's vote for people who are going to make sense, who are going to listen to the people, not go up there and say, oh, you know, we telling y'all what to do, right? Because as much as they say the right is a dictatorship, and I believe that's true to some degree, so is the left. We heard Joe Biden basically say, y'all can't tell me what to do. I'm calling the shots here. So, and to me, nothing says I was calling the shots by letting all these people come up in here when people said, hey, there's too many, stop. Hey, so we can push back on that by actually electing people who are going to go in there and do what they say they're going to do. And if they don't do what they say they're going to do, then they got one time. They don't got 20, 30, 40 years and not doing what they say they're going to do. And we say, well, I'm just going to keep her in there because, you know, them turkeys do be good during Thanksgiving, right? Enough. See, some of that is on us. That Washington is running the way it is right now. And 4 years ago and 4 years before that, we got to think a little bit more critically.
And let me add on that. Whenever I hear somebody ask that question, how can we do this when the Republicans have a majority? Let's go back to Obama. Did not Obama have a super majority in the Senate? He had a super majority. For 2 years, he could do whatever he wants. And Mitch McConnell used every trick in the book to obstruct Obama's white, whatever agenda he was doing. Well, non-black, we know it was non-black. So ask yourself this, if Mitch McConnell could obstruct a supermajority Senate, what's the Democrats' excuse for them not doing anything right now in regards to what Donald Trump is trying to do? Make it make sense.
Freedom fighter, how you doing? I don't know why I'm talking that fast today. He says, delete your babies, Kamala Harris said, and then laugh about it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, at what point do people say, okay, that's a little too much? You know what I mean? Huh? Hey, Nikki, how you doing? Says, people who can't stand Trump got a lot of nerves, probably can't stand their neighbors. Well, you know, I'm not saying that everything Trump is doing is right. I don't agree with everything he's doing. I don't agree with all of anything anybody is doing. But, you know, to sit up here and say that the Democrats is doing everything right. Nah, I think that if they would have put up a better candidate and stopped with the foolishness, they could have been in office. But yeah, that was definitely a referendum on the Democrat Party with all the foolishness, you know. They did that in 4 years. Now I know there's been mass immigration, but not to that degree. They did that in 4 years. What was 4 more years of that going to look like? That's scary. Let's see. Deborah, how you doing? Says twerking hasn't helped. No. Matthew, how you doing? Says just to say it's not only the woman, it's the men too. Both sides are at fault, right or left. We need our own party that we create. Absolutely. Clem James, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else came on here. And I see y'all comments, but there's so many of you guys, and I really want to acknowledge everyone. Juanita, how you doing? Says, damn, shame how these folks in your comment cut off. Let's see. Sugar Unique, how you doing? Says the most ignorant move, besides all their detestable laws, they installed Harrison walls, dumber and dumber. Yeah, and I don't know, it's just kind of, it was last minute, no doubt, right? We all know what happened with that. Okay, okay, yeah, this comment is getting deleted. Y'all come on here with the foolishness. I'm just gonna block and delete you. And that was somebody named Whitey on here acting crazy. Let's see here.
Yeah, I ended up putting him in timeout.
Okay, cool. Carly, how you doing? Says, yes, Obama had the House and Senate. I didn't vote for him. I already saw the game. Yeah, but, you know, even to this day, a lot of people say, well, you know, they were pushing against him. They stopped him at everything. You guys like, but y'all leaving off something. He had the Senate and the House, you know, up until 2010.
Super majority.
He could have
done anything he wanted. Anything. Didn't do reparations, didn't do one thing for Black people. He was supposed to codify Roe versus Wade, didn't do it. did a press conference and said, well, I'm not going to do that, even though he campaigned on it. Did the marriage thing for the LGBTQ. Did the Dreamers Act or the Dreamers executive thing that is still being fought in the courts to this very day. I mean, you guys tell me. A so-called black man did not do one thing with the supermajority for black people, not one.
And then you got black people and everybody else defending it. It's like, knock it off, okay? Trisha, how you doing? Says, I'll definitely join the Crockett, AOC, Stanberry trifecta to lead a new party. We want balance, innovative ideas, and people-driven. Why? What are they doing that's innovating? AOC has been in there since 2018, somewhere around there, 17, 16. I don't know. She's been in there for a while. So what has she done?
Against reparations. She's against reparations.
But what has she done to move the ball? She's been in there quite a while, right? What has she done? What has Crockett or Stansberry done that you like? If you don't mind me asking. Well, and Stanberry, if you understand, she's newer, right? She's newer than the other two. So what are they doing that makes you say, we need to get together and vote for them? I'm just curious. Latina, how you doing? It says immigration hurts the black community. That is true. Let's see, Taylor, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Harvey Sterling, what's going on? He said Democrats keep black Americans through the black media, church, and politicians kept black folks focused on racism, not policies. That is true. Racism is a thing, but yeah, we've been, and not to discount it because it does happen, but their shtick is to keep us emotionally invested and not critically thinking about what's going on. So absolutely. Frank Smith, how you doing? Says Obama was a complete fraud. Well, he was put up to be that, right? He's just a figurehead to do that. Denise King, how you doing? Says no party has ever given anything for black people. Yeah, and we say specifics because they've done specifics for everybody else, but us, we get excuses, right? Oh, he was the president of everybody. He wasn't the president. And listen, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I was once guilty of saying, well, he is kind of the president of everybody, until I started to get more information and more knowledge. It's like, no, you can't keep saying that because he's doing stuff for everybody else. TMT, what's good with you? And again, I see all y'all comments, but I just want to skip down to make sure I see everybody. Sunny Sunshine, how you doing? Says, he couldn't do half the crap Trump is doing. Well, he didn't even try, but he did do some of the stuff that Trump is doing, even with this whole
Act. Well, that's an executive order.
Well, even with the birthrights, not necessarily birthrights, but Obama's gripe was, the lower courts should not usurp the federal courts. They should only be able to have
in their jurisdiction, right,
over their own states and areas. So Biden had that issue, Obama and Trump, but nobody was loud about that when they had that issue. But Trump is saying it, which makes sense if you really think about it. How is it that a lower court can decide for the whole country? Right. So, yeah. And
I'm going to advise everybody who's watching the lower courts. There's 9 jurisdictions of the courts around the United States. That's why you have like the First Circuit. They talk about the Ninth Circuit and all these circuits, right? These are the lower federal courts. So they have a certain area that they're in charge of. How can a certain area put an injunction for the whole United States? You have to agree by logic. That makes sense.
Right. Jerron, hello again. He says, I always felt the illegals called dreamers deserve no pathway to citizenship because I guess they're getting it now after a lot of them self-identified, which they shouldn't have done. Well, I believe there should be some pathway to citizenship. It should be, because there's pathway in, most places throughout the world, a pathway, but you shouldn't be able to come over here and break the law and then say, okay, well, I'm here, so now you need to make a pathway. To me, I think it's like, no, go back and then come on, and then try to get over here the right way and then do it that way. But it's not like, it's like I go into a bank and say, well, I'm broke in here and I stole some money, and since I have it, you should just let me have it. Nobody, don't get mad. It's just, a few $100,000. Ain't nobody gonna miss that. That's not how that works. So yeah,
and then you got to think of the fact that those dreamers, Obama was in office almost 20 years ago. Most of those people that he put in limbo dreamer status, they're having children right now. And if you read what Trump is trying to do with the birthright citizenship, if you read his executive order, he's asking that at least one of the parents be a U.S. citizen. I think that's reasonable. It makes sense. Can we have at least one of you guys be a U.S. citizen?
Absolutely. Amber, how you doing? Says in the 1980s, it would have been nearly impossible to elect a president who was found guilty of felonies and was found liable for fraud and sexual abuse. You just didn't know about it. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it could have happened. Yeah, because
I mean,
once Nixon got pardoned, notice nobody has been punished since. That set the precedence that they will not punish these executives, period. They've tried to impeach Trump twice. Now they're going to try a third time? Come on, you guys. Come on. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they just didn't get caught. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. Khalil, how you doing? Says, men, the DNC doesn't even believe in Crockett and AOC. No, they don't. Because AOC, when she first got in there, the freshman squad and all that, Nancy Pelosi said, if y'all don't sit y'all wet behind the ear self down somewhere, and guess what they did? They sat down somewhere. And you didn't hear all the rah-rah that they had coming from them after that. They got in where they fit in and said, okay, Ms. Nancy, what are we doing today? And she said, that's what I thought. Okay. It was
and Nancy's still running the show behind the scenes. Your boy Jeffries.
With us?
Like, boy!
Is she still with us?
Yes, she's still with us. She's on that cane or that walker, but she's still running the show. They call her the Phantom Menace.
Wow. Harold, he says, please do have to, I think it meant people do have to like Trump because Trump or anyone else at the BEC is our biggest problem. And I probably misread your comment. If you want to type that again, Yorkshire, how you doing? Says Crockett could be a Caribbean person who functions as a freckless political bedwench for DNC using sassy satire stereotypical behavior to reel in Black women via superficial emotionalism. Yeah, I don't quite know where she's from, but yeah, I totally believe that she's used to do that because unfortunately it's the churchy thing, right? Again, I always give that example. You go to church and the pastors run around hooping and hollering and people say, oh, he sure preached a good word. And you ask him, well, what did he say? I don't know, but it was a good word. You don't know what he said? Nah, but he sure was preaching. Got all your money, huh?
Yeah. Let me read this from Harvey Sterling. He says, most CBC members are Black Americans, not immigrants. And it's Black Americans' responsibility to hold Black politicians accountable. I agree with you, Sterling, but you got to remember the majority of the CBC members now, they're first generation immigrants. They're first generation Americans. So their parents, whatever deal is. So here in California, you hear a lot of these Mexicans saying, oh, well, my parents were illegal, but they're good people and you're separating families or whatever, right? But do you see the heartstrings of that first generation American? They think it's okay because their parents came here illegally and it should be just wiped away because they have a strong pulling to that. And because our CBC members, the majority of them now, are first generation Americans. Do you know, Mr. Sterling, what the number one agenda of the CBC is in this congressional term? It's immigration. That's their priority, not Blackness, it's immigration. Not what Black people need, it's what illegal immigrants need. That is their main focus in this congressional term.
Absolutely. And anonymously, I see you saying Trump's mom was not a citizen of the USA. Trump's mama is not a citizen nowhere no more. James, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. He says, as soon as I saw everything the Democrats did with the illegals, I was done with them. Yeah, and I think that's true for a lot of people. It's like, okay, wait a minute. You're giving them everything and we've got nothing specifically? Yes, that don't jive, right? So a lot of people are starting to really wake up and they hate that, right? Juanita, how you doing? Says 50 states are not happy with Trump or his appointees. Well, the majority of them were at least when he was elected. You know, they may not be now, but again, where is the admonishment for the Democrat Party that kept on with all the foolishness and nobody said, hey, Kamala, come here. Can I talk to you? You're talking reckless, okay? The giggling is cute if you got something to say with it. But all the things that they were championing, I mean, you especially in Chicago, places like that, we heard Black people say, listen, we don't like that y'all bringing all these immigrants over here and they getting this, that, and the other, and we're being told no. She just flat out ignored that. She, along with the DNC and all the supporters, 92% of Black women, 78% of Black men who voted for her and everybody else, they didn't care. They just wanted her in. And now we have this. When they put her up without being primary to none of that, nobody said, well, it's kind of a mistake. So don't be mad now that you see the results that we got when you saw it being produced. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. James Brown. Did I say hello to you? If not, hello. Let's see who else came on here. I did not see. I just want to make sure I see everybody. Whoa. 540D. Thank you so much for that. That is a hell of a donation. Love and appreciate you. We shall. Thank you. He says, keep up the great work. Black first. Yes, indeed. Always black first. Who else haven't I seen? Magnificent Lie, or Magnificent Lies. She says, playing ends justifies the means occasionally is different than the ends always justify the means. Trump exploits what gentlemen and ladies leave be. I'm not quite sure what that means. If you want to retype that. Brother Reddy says, all I heard Jazzy say was my ghetto grift didn't work, so let me try to go to the black church grift. Yeah, and they'll accept her there. They like her, but I would think if you're going to go do something else, is what you're going to go do win more people over. Or are you just going to be having the same conversation with the same people who are like, well, we already buying what you're saying. Yeah. Are you going to change other people's minds? Or are you just going somewhere else because the party that you thought loved you says, well, we think somebody else is good for the job, just not you, Yeah,
but here's my question, Demetra. And like I said, even when I was in the DR and I'm sitting there on my Mai Tai in my private beach or my private pool, I'm sitting here watching all this stuff that's happening, and especially here in California, because we have a big Hispanic population because we're bordered with Mexico, right? And the Democrats keep talking about how immigration is such a great thing, but I don't see them doing anything fighting for the immigrants. Remember, I keep talking about good cop, bad cop. What's the difference between a good cop and a bad cop, you guys? Nothing. They both want to put you in jail. There's nothing. There is no difference. But here we are. Oh, the Democrats are great, and maybe they are. Some are. I can't say they all are bad. But if they brought all these people here without a pathway to citizenship, I don't know how you're going to do that. Why aren't they fighting and using the power of the bully pulpit to speak up for these Hispanics and these illegals that are being taken advantage of by the Trump administration? I mean, I see almost no pushback, Demetra. I mean, what do you see?
So the question is, what exactly?
The question is, do you see pushback from the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party leaders in regards to immigration that they let happen under the Biden administration? I see almost none. As a matter of fact, in Miami, the Cubans in a city near Miami, they just went into an agreement with ICE to go and get the illegals. So you've got Cubans that are Latin they want those illegals out of there themselves. So now they're starting to get rid of the people of Latin descent as well. They went into an agreement with ICE. Did you hear about that?
I saw the video that you sent me. I didn't get a chance to look at it. Nikki says, tired of Democrat policies here in Chicago. There you go. And my thing too is this. There's a lot of black immigrants being deported. I think they're going to deport 500,000 Haitians. Where are the black Democrats to say anything about that? All we've heard of them talking about the Latinos in Los Angeles, this, that, and the other. But there's a lot of other people being deported who came here illegal, and they can't even hardly get a blip on the radar. To me, that's very troubling. So it's like that also gives a lot of credence to when Biden says, y'all gonna have to learn how to get along with the Hispanics. Because they don't. It seems like they don't do anything else for anybody else outside of Hispanics. So, yeah, I agree with you. Let's see who else came on here. And again, I see all your comments, but there's so many of you guys, and I don't want to miss one person. Renata, how you doing? Says, don't give up. Jesus was portrayed. What does that mean? Frank Smith, he says, why do people in New York keep voting for AOC? That's a good question. Same reason why people in Los Angeles keep voting for Maxine Waters. Carmen says, correct me, Demetra. Says the Democrats should be worried about how they managed to lose to Trump than fear-mongering and blaming Trump. Now, yeah, and to this day, it doesn't sound like they've gotten together in a back room somewhere and say, okay, listen, we got to own this. We did this. Let's figure out how not to have this beat us next time. There's, still LaMonica McIvers. She's got federal charges now because she tried to bum rush an ICE detention center in New Jersey on behalf of migrants. And I said on TikTok, well, I'll protest with Monica as soon as those ICE detention detainees can protest for her. Because everybody's like, well, where's all the outrage for LaMonica? It's like, well, the people that she was crashing out for, they can't protest for her. So why are you asking us to do it? I ain't seen LaMonica on the front line for Black Americans, never one time. But we're supposed to get out there and be mad. Ain't nobody tell her to get out there with her silly behind and swinging and doing all the foolishness she was doing to get herself in trouble. You know what? This gonna sound mean. I don't care if nobody likes it or not. I think she should at least get one of those years. They say she's looking at 17. She should at least do one, so she could sit herself down and contemplate and understand the meaning of why she's there. It's not there to legislate for people who shouldn't be here in the first place. Now, mind you, she just got there. She just got their thing last year, and now she's looking at doing 17 years for people who ain't never and will never do nothing for her, but Black people supposed to crash out for her because she in jail or she might go there. I don't think I got that time or energy. Not me.
Right. I got another question for you. Did you see the vice mayor of a town here in, I think, Cador, California? How she was calling up the cholos and the gang members and all that other stuff to fight the ICE? And the reason I'm bringing this up, you guys, the reason I'm bringing that up is, do you see what their politicians do for their people? They go to the carpet for their people, even though that was the wrong thing to say. The point is, they go 10 toes down for their people, right or wrong. Our folks can't find them.
Absolutely. And Romeo, how you doing? I actually want to go back
to take care of Mel New York City Reviews.
Huh? What happened?
There's a guy, Mel New York City Reviews. He's on some foolishness.
Let me see what he's talking about real quick. Hold on a second. Al, he says, how you doing? Says, who says that once Trump gets all the brown people out, that he won't change the 14th Amendment? Well, it's not that he's trying to get all the brown people out. He's trying to get all the brown people who came over here illegally, along with all the yellow people, the Black people, and everybody else. But Trump can't change the 14th Amendment himself. That has to take an act of Congress. So I just want to put that on out there.
Civics, you guys, you've got to understand how your government works. We don't have a dictatorship. He's an executive. He could do this. Even if he did change the 14th Amendment, you have to have a country of origin to deport people to. We're the only group that came here against our will, and we were stripped of everything. So we don't know exactly what country we come from. So I'm from the DR. Demetrius from Nigeria, so we know that. So
I'm not from Nigeria, okay? I have Nigerian ancestry per my DNA testing, but I'm not actually from Nigeria. I'm Black American. The last thing I need somebody to get out there. Oh shit, John, how you doing?
I'm gonna get this show off the internet soon enough. Yes, we hear that you're a Nigerian.
I mean, I do have Nigerian ancestry, and I'm proud of that. I don't have an issue with that at all. But I am Black American, descendants of slaves. So, John, there is, but I see that we got less than about 10 minutes left here. So, I have to get better at being able to share so people can come on, because usually when people come on, it's quite a few people. Let's see here. Who haven't I seen? Luck Dragon, I know I seen you, but you haven't really said anything. He says, I'm just effing dragon coming from the outside telling you all that the truth hurts. You live in a stupid bubble and you actually think politicians or any side actually care for you. I don't know who told you that, but if you think that, we still love you anyway. 48 TCO says they don't care about them Negroes. Who else? Paisley Martin, how you doing? Says same bird, opposite wings. Come on, you better tell them. Yorkshire says 500,000 Haitians to be deported after losing temporary protective status. Yeah, I don't see nobody. I know none of these Black Democrats crashing out for them. Why is that? We really need to find out. Hey, M, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Herschel says, kind of makes me wonder if our government has been infiltrated by the cartel. Now, come on, now we can speculate. LG says they're sending some illegals to South Sudan regardless of their home country. I heard about that as well. Brooklyn, he says they want these Hispanics here to be the new voting bloc so they can make us permanent underclass. Yep, we've heard that, right?
Well, we'll see. If you think about it logically, that doesn't make sense because you just can't come here and automatically start voting. It's going to be the children. Our grandchildren will be eradicated with no voice. So the people that come over here right now, that's not going to affect anything as regards of elections.
Yeah, and then there was some talks. I don't know how true it is. I don't like to speculate, delve into rumors, but that somehow they were going to try to change the laws so that could happen, right? We did hear a lot about that. So was that on the menu? We'll never know, right? Not anytime soon. Scoop, thank you once again for the donation. Love it. Appreciate you. Says the Latinos are not out to help anyone but their own people. Said Trump is actually doing something that will help FBAs by deporting them. I'm in Cali. Trust me, it's needed. Yeah, I'm Californian, born and raised, and I was just there 2 weeks ago. And I every time I go back, I'm like, man, I don't hardly see no black people here. I don't see white people, but they in their own little enclaves. But that's the majority there, in California. And I always say this. That don't mean that because there's a lot of Hispanics in California that they're all there illegally. Most of them are there legally, right? But as I said, it's not just them. It's Haitians, it's Jamaicans, it's Asians from all parts of Asia that's here. And they ain't supposed to be because there's a lot of them crossed over the Darien Gap too, But you don't hardly hear anything about that. But of course, she says, yeah, the troll. Yeah, I guess you guys are saying the trolls are here. So thank you, my beautiful.
One thing we know about the trolls, we know that the Democratic Party pays these people to do what they do. So I'm glad they found employment.
Yeah, if that's what helps. Hello, Frank, how you doing? And Tessa Jetta, you said hello from peace from Rwanda and Congo. Yes, and that's the other thing too, especially with all the things that's going on all over the planet. Democrats and Republicans, they're okay with taking care of other people's humanitarian issues and wars. But what about Rwanda and Congo? We don't hear nothing about that. Now, I know that a diplomat from Congo, if I'm not mistaken, Democratic Republican Republic of Congo was in the White House, I think yesterday, talking to Trump, saying, thank you, basically hoping that he'd pay attention to what's going on over there. And everybody's running away when he says she was very beautiful, which she is very beautiful.
I want to give a special shout out to my girl Sunlight. She has popped up, which means I have to be on my best behavior.
Yep, and your average logical thinker. I see you popped up as well. Let's see.
Okay, average logical thinkers on here too. Okay, I got to straighten up.
Yes, Gary DeForba. How you doing, this Shaw? How you doing? Says she let herself get played by the Democrats. Oh well, yeah. And for me, I'll just be like, I ain't gonna tell nobody. And I might just, how they do in the Baptist church, they put up the finger and they kind of just walk out. If I was Jasmine, that's what I would have done. I would have never said that because she did a lot of putting on for the Democrats and for them. I mean, even, defending Biden and Hunter when they, Joe and Hunter Biden, when they were, being accused of taking some money overseas and stuff. She was like, well, what would you do? He's defending his son. What do you expect him to do? And it's like, and Joe Biden tiptoed out of there and pardoned not one Negro or Negress that went to bat for him. Not one. That tells you what he really thought of Jasmine, and she's doing all that caping for him and his son, right? And we never did find out how that crack pipe got in there. We can speculate. Who else came on here? And I see all your comments. Please do not think that I don't. Latino Slant, how you doing? Says Cudahy. He says, and she's not the leader we want at all. So you're talking about Jasmine Crockett. Cart Gamer, did I say hello to you? Says, have any of the Congress people visited Black Americans in prisons? Nope. But they fly down to CCOT to check on. He said white beaters. Now that's speculation. Well, I guess he did do that. Abrego Kilmar Garcia, yeah, he did do that. His wife was like, oh, we moved past that or whatever. But now they talking about, yeah, they're going to deport him because he was a smuggler or a mule or getting people out of those a lot. So, yeah. Tracy, yes, you are late. Greater Achievements, what's going on with you? Who else is on here that I did not see? Enoch says, give me full reparations and you can't deport me back. And you can deport me. That's what I'm saying. Give me my money, I'll leave. I'm not tied to here. AMPDM1 was going on. She says, Trump's peace treaty between Rwanda and Congo means their war refugees need to prepare to return home. Yeah. Was it Rwanda? They said that's the biggest genocide in modern day history, right? Millions of people have been slaughtered and displaced, and barely a blip anywhere, right? So yeah. What? Resistance Publishing, how you doing? Says whoever is pulling Jasmine strings is telling her to pull back, huh? Maybe so. They're like, maybe, yeah, that's a little too, you came on a little too strong, you came in too hot.
Let me read this one real quick. Sunny Sunshine says, Project 2025 is real. Really? Tell me how. Because I haven't seen any slave patrols. I don't know of any Black people that are back in slavery. What else 2025 was supposed to do? I just haven't seen it. Now, you are aware, Sunny, 2025, most of the think tank that thought that up, the mass incarceration and things of that nature, was always implemented by Democratic presidents. You're aware of that, right? So Project 25 is real. If it's real, why aren't we in chains? Why aren't we picking apples and oranges and cotton? So educate me, please.
I mean, and I would say that some of the things have come to fruition in Project 2025. But again, everybody kept talking about Project 2025, but you never sat Kamala down in the Democratic Party and said, hey, if Trump is coming in, he's going to be potentially bringing in Project 2025. We need to, switch it around a little bit. Stop talking about all this nonsense that people are telling you not to talk about. Nobody gives a doggone about joy and vibes, and we just need to bring the joy back into politics. Nah, that's silliness. But see, Democrats are big on emotions, and look what that got them. And as I say, 2028 ain't gonna be that much better if they keep it up, So yeah. Let's see. Melanated Mantra, what's going on with you? Jason, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. Four Lane, how you doing? Says Democrats are the party of immigrants and Republicans are the party of white people. No party fights specifically for Black people, which is why we should not be aligning ourselves with any party. We should have our own party. As somebody else said on here, Dr. Claude Anderson said we should have been having our own party. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said nobody in the White House is going to do for Black people, which is why we must do for self, right? Stop putting our faith and hope into somebody, that we think we're sending to office to do something for us. And when we start doing more for ourselves, and then they'll start to listen. That was the premise of what Dr. Claude Anderson was telling us. Let's start doing for ourselves, right? And then we'll have the ear of people because they be like, oh, Black people got their stuff together. We need, to do something for them because they're moving as a well-oiled machine now. Right now, Black people are like this. We fight against everything, this, that, and the other. And so that's where everybody else needs us so they can benefit. They need us to have a schism. But the minute we start working together, then we could do like the Asians. Not that they don't vote, they do, but they're like, well, if we vote, great. If we don't, great. We still got our thing going on, right? We're not dependent solely on somebody going to office, which is why they got that crime bill right out the gate. It was unanimous from both sides of the aisle because they know the Asians know how to organize.
Let me read this from Frank Nitty. Frank Nitty says, why is he not deporting the white immigrants? And brother, all respect due, do we really have to ask that question? You know what I mean? Is that really a question we really need to ask? We know why he's not deporting the white immigrants.
Yeah, I mean, you want to keep it white. That's always been the premise, is to keep it white. But they forgot that premise when they was creeping in the slave shacks. They wasn't trying to keep it all white then, and they understand the writing on the wall. There's such thing as genetic annihilation. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing told us about that, right? So they're trying to stop that, but there's little they could do about that. There's not, it's going to happen.
And if you guys don't know it's happening, did you watch the NBA draft the other day?
Yeah. A lot of big people. Yeah. He said after they get them out, they'll remove them as well. Okay. Latino Slant, thank you so much for that. It says, great conversation, Ben Sub. Well, thank you for that. Let's see here. Who else haven't I seen on here? And I apologize. I do see y'all comment, but please do not charge it to my heart. Raven, he says, I'm in Bakersfield, and black men are working them roofs, the roofing, drywall, and construction jobs that ICE made available by arresting the illegals. ICE, baby. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Again, it's not to come off as mean spirited, but those are jobs that Americans should be doing. And I get why the companies hire them, because they're like, well, it's cheap labor, but yet, you got Americans that can do the job. So I don't know, that it's a win.
Yeah, and I let me add to that. Have you guys noticed that the newer houses that are being built, they're very cheaply made and stuff, and they fall apart? Now, when you hire illegal workers, right? They're not certified, at least to the American standards. So that would be like letting somebody work on your house and put in your foundation, right? He's just putting. Have you guys been to developing countries and see how they build? Would you want your house being built the way they build their houses? How are you in a tropical, like in the DR? I don't understand this for the life of me. It rains in the Caribbean a lot, but all the houses are flat. So the water accumulates and seeps through the cement eventually, and it's all messed up. So think about this. When these employers are hiring illegals, they're not certified that we know of to the standard of America or to the unions. So we're hurting ourselves again by supporting this stuff.
And Sunlight, he says, Demetri, no words hardly from Green Party, either in Rwanda. None of them are talking about it, So I don't know. I think that's where the conversation should be. Things that's going over there. And we know that the United States is complicit in a lot of destabilization of governments, So yeah, but that hardly gets any conversation at all. And y'all notice how we don't hear about Burkina Faso anymore either. I guess they decided to leave them alone,
Or they got something in the works for them.
Right. Brother Reggie says they're working on Project 2026, y'all. Everybody that voted for Kamala, laugh out loud. Yeah, they might be. Why you joking, right? They might be. Italian, how you doing? Says it finally happened. The Democrats have collapsed society. Zoran, a Muslim, attended the LGBT parade. So you talking about the guy that may be the mayor of New York City? Well, he's a Democrat, right? He's a socialist Democrat. So that jives, right? It's not totally mind-boggling that he would do that. That's what they do, right? They before I go to these parades, and it's Pride Month, so they're celebrating Pride or whatever the case is. The problem with them is they celebrate a lot of one thing and they ignore a lot of other things. So that's the problem. Prime Time, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Who else haven't I seen on here? Again, I apologize. I love to read all you guys' comments, but there's a lot of y'all showing up now, and I'm grateful for that. Jay Bubble, he says, just got here. They are trying to put Joy Reid back. I saw that. Put Joy Reid back out there on CNN to try to shut up the new black media again. Yeah, she's been on the Griot. I think she sat down with Don Lemon because Don Lemon got his own show now. Yeah, I've seen her on CNN. Yeah, she's kind of been speaking against the Democrat Party a tiny bit as well. But it's like, nah, we heard you the first time, sis. We heard you. You're a shield. You'll always be a shield.
Yeah, and all these people, what's her name? Jean-Claude Pierre, whatever her name is. They call themselves independent in name. You are not independent if you're still doing the same thing you did if you were a Republican, or if you're still thinking in the same way you were a Democrat. You're not an independent. I'm a recovering Democrat. So even though fundamentally I'm a Democrat, I'm thinking differently than I did as a hardcore Democrat. You see what I'm saying? So, they're just moving over to be popular to still champion Democratic policy.
Yeah, and Ursa, he says, but Mexican illegals have abused the 14th Amendment. All Hispanics aren't illegals. That's true. They're all of them are not, right? And it's not just Mexicans, but it's a lot of people who are here illegally, right? Who have had children and things like that, and they're trying to use it. It's like, and of course you hear all this conversation. Oh, it says all people, but it's like, why was it? What was the origin of the 14th Amendment? But people want to gloss over that, right? Let's see. Emily says they don't do good work. Matthew says it's about private corporate interest. Slavery was a business for them. Hey, Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Sunlight says I have seen black men back on road infrastructure. That's a good thing. Yep, that is a good thing. Yeah, we need to work. We need our men to work. Angie says,
do you remember that video where that guy was thankful that to Donald Trump he started crying because he went to the construction site and got a job immediately. He had been looking for a job for a long time.
Yeah. As Edgy says, they don't like when blacks have something in mind, like back during slavery, to ensure there is no imminent revolt in the plantation. Massa asks every black if he has something in mind. Okay. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Third grade gamer, how you doing? Says some Irish ones were supposedly deported. Yeah. So, you know, they ain't talking about that. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Jocelyn, how you doing? Says where I live, they put the plumbing in backwards, the pipes. What? Roland, how you doing? Says I am the only one that Miss Jasmine Crockett can depend on. Okay. Earth Angel, how you doing? Long time no see. Let's see who else is on here that I did not see. Flash Cloud, how you doing? Says flat roofs are cheaper to build and angle roofs tops are only important where it snows. That makes sense, right? It rolls off.
Right. Yeah, but but engineering wise, it doesn't make sense to make a flat roof where it rains a lot. That's suicide, basically.
Yeah, DW said they drink on the job. I had a job or two that I wanted to drink on, but I don't drink. Not a lot. Anyway.
Well, flying an airplane sometimes, since weed doesn't do any harm, as a pilot, how many of you guys would love to fly with me and I'm high?
No.
So obviously it must do something, that's detrimental to my performance.
No, I don't need my pilot drunk, high, none of that, okay? Brother Reggie says, Joyless Reed straight embarrassed herself on CNN and still yelling fascism. Yeah, and look how that's turned out, right? Buck Horse says, Don Lemonhead, you crazy. Paisley Martin says, so let me get this straight. So they are deporting everyone else. My question is, once they finish with this, do you think they will ignore the Constitution Amendment and try to make more black slaves? Now they know better. And as I'm going to say this, I'm going to keep repeating it. If y'all think that you may have a chance to be a slave, don't wait. Get your knapsack. And I'm going to keep repeating this because I want y'all to remember this. Get a sturdy one, a good sturdy one that will hold about 300 pounds of cotton a day, because that's what they have to pick, okay? Make sure, say, hey, Massa, I'm here. I'm not going to wait for you to come get me. I'm not going to wait to see the patty rollers on my street and my cul-de-sac. Point me to where my slave shack is and what part of the plantation you need me to be picking, okay? Now, I don't think you're going to get too many people to sign up for that, but they'll try. They could try to put us on the plantation, and they'll try once, and they'll say, nope, back to the drawing board. They crazy.
And again, a lot of people have certain fears, but in the modern age, to think that in America, you are going to be put in chains as a slave as it was back in the 1800s and before then is ludicrous. It is totally, if anything, you are right now, we're already economic slaves. They don't have to enslave us chain wise. They've already got us at the bottom of the system. So, what else, can they do at this point? And you've got to think about it logically. Even if that was something real, like right now, do you see the Hispanics? We're the blacks. Why aren't you helping us? We're the ones that make it move and shake. Anybody in the military will tell you, when you've got 40 million black people behind your lines, you have a problem.
Yeah. Sean, he says, why would they talk about Rwanda? I'm just saying, they talk about everywhere else. Especially that's doing okay. And then all of a sudden they got to go over there and do your humanitarian intervention, right? Like they did with Libya, So I'm saying if there's a lot of things going on in Rwanda that needs attention, but they talk about going to other places that's doing okay. And then it ends up destabilized. See, I think they won't talk about Rwanda as much because they already getting what there is to get out of there is to stabilize. And America don't care what's going on with those people. They just care what's going on, with the resources and things like that. So that's why I said that.
And speaking of Rwanda, real quick, and Libya, did Obama go to Congress and get permission to go bomb this and did Joe Biden get permission to go do what he did? A lot of people don't understand how the War Powers Act is. There's a War Powers Act, right? But there's amendments to the War Powers Act. Ever since 9/11, that has not been repealed. The authorization to go to war was given to the president during 9/11. that has never been repealed, and that is the document that gives the president unilateral power to wage war across the globe without consulting Congress. If he doesn't have to consult Congress at all. And that is why it stands, and he does what he does. But when Trump does it, oh, he didn't get permission from the Congress. Oh my gosh, he's just going rogue. You guys, learn your government. Really. You guys are doing great, but you know what I mean? Tell your folks, learn your government.
Absolutely. Herschel says your next argument, haven't these people heard the 13th Amendment? Right. We've been next, you know. Brother Reggie, you know, you crazy. You talking about where's Jennifer Lewis? She said all blacks will be locked up or shot.
Shot.
Shot up now. Yeah, you know, and I don't know, maybe she left America. Is she still with us? I don't know. The old God, how you doing? Says, see, pig eaters think stupid, talking about slavery. Those people, isn't that crazy? Wow. Okay. Let's see. Awakened Soul Vibes, how you doing? Says the Democratic Party yelling now in Congress about the big ugly bill, letting the Republicans know they are horrible. Yeah, but it sounds like there's because they can only afford to lose 3 Republican votes, and it sounds like a lot more Republicans are like, yeah, no, I don't like what's in this bill. So I had a deadline of July 4th to pass what Trump did, but it sounds like I don't know if it's going to go past that, but a lot of Republicans are having second thoughts, which, you know, it's not good for the big, beautiful bill, right? They just kind of want to ram through the House, but the Senate is like, I don't know about that. And I think that's because they get a lot of pushback from their constituents, like, yo, y'all ain't supposed to just be letting Trump do any and everything you want to do. Y'all supposed to be in there to rein him in, and y'all haven't been doing a good job of that.
And again, all the tricks that you can use in Congress to obstruct a president's agenda. Did not Mitch McConnell and the Democrats say, oh, we can't do anything about universal health care because of the parliamentarian? They use all these tricks, but notice that when it's going their way, the parliamentarian doesn't matter. Learn your government, you guys. Learn how they do this. Isn't it funny? Mitch McConnell could do everything as the leader of the Republicans to obstruct and delay, but the Democrats seem to have no tricks in their bag.
Yeah, Ernest says the Democrat Party is dead. It will remain dead until they do right by Black people, and Jasmine Crockett is not it. Nope, and they let her know. Catherine, he says, was that wishful thinking? He said something about me and Afro Elite. What exactly about that? I know there's been a picture of us together from Ohio. First time ever meeting him. I see his stuff on Twitter. He goes in, right? So yeah, we are on the same page.
Don't let Demetra fool you guys. There's a picture of her and Bruno Mars. That's one of her favorite artists and stuff.
I wish. I like Bruno Mars. I really do, but there's no pictures that I know of, right? Corey, right? He says Donovan is a modern day MLK, Percy Julian's, Crispus Attucks, Amos Fortune, and Doris Miller. You must have paid them, huh? Craig, the tech guy, how you doing? Said the Dems in the center have thrown the left over the bus. Absolutely. Grizzly Hendricks, how you doing? Says, I think you meant, you say FWA, but you mean FBA. Is that what you mean? Stand up? Is that what you meant? Okay.
Nick Back says, reparation advocate Crystal, I'm sorry. Cart Game White Carter says, Biden's Build Back Better was worse than Trump's big, beautiful bill. Why not give it a chance? Exactly. And you're onto something right there. Do you guys realize the billions of dollars that was just thrown away under Biden's Build Back Better, and it hasn't trickled down and infrastructure still falling apart? Where did that money go? Nobody is doing any research.
Right. Corey, you say you like those Church's butter biscuits. I don't know. I ain't been to Church's in a minute. Okay. I remember the last time I've been to Church's. I'm scared to eat at Church's. So yeah. Anyway, F48 TCL says Trump needs the FBA millennials on his team. Yeah, I mean that everybody needs FBAs on the team, right? Yeah, Ursha. You said Democrats are weak. Raven says the Democrats are poodles and Republicans are junkyard dogs, which is why Republicans win the most. Yeah, Democrats just say, well, we're going to play by the rules. We're going to wait and see. This, that, and the other. Republicans said, we know what we said, but this is what we going to do. They're not afraid to break the rules or whatever the case is. Herschel says Afro Elite seems to be very studious guy. He is very, very, very studious and a thinker. We like thinkers, right?
And if you guys think about this, okay, we know that the Democrats, they want to get it back in power, right? Right? It's a very simple solution. Reparations. Notice that old bald-headed chick, she introduces it when there's no way in the hell it's going to go through.
Presley.
Yeah, Presley, that's who she is. I was gonna say the Black Dr. Evil. But anyway, she introduces the bill that has no chance of passing to get us all behind it, stuff like that. All the Democrats have to do is say, if you guys get us back into power, we and stand 10 toes down on it. Reparations for Black people, and they can win. But guess what? They hate Black people so much, they would rather lose than give us reparations and things that we deserve.
Absolutely. Hey, Bakari, how you doing? Hope that you are doing well. So we're just out of time here. I did make it to the bottom. I didn't get to read everybody's comment, but Lord.
And I'm going to cut you off real quick. It has to do with Bakari. If you guys get a chance, go to Bakari's YouTube page and his Facebook page. Dropping knowledge. If you guys really want some knowledge-based stuff, I don't agree with him in some of the things, but most of the stuff, brother is dropping serious knowledge. Made me go back and open a book.
Yeah, and then for those of y'all who have YouTube channels, say follow me, right? And ask people to follow you. Please follow everybody so we can, see what everybody's talking about and all that. I know a lot of people are trying to build their channels, so every follow helps, right? Yes, indeed. Team Jesus says, is Trump or Republicans going to give Blacks reparations? Ha, ha, ha. Somebody going to give us reparations. You're going to laugh when we go into the bank, okay? You know what? Now, her name is Ayanna Presley. And Catherine says, am I the only one who hears static when Donovan talks? I don't hear static on my end. I don't know. I don't hear any static, but maybe from that end, I don't hear anything. Solomon, how you doing? Says she didn't introduce reparations. She introduced another study of reparations. We need another study. We don't need another study. We need them to cut the check. So recently she did. She says $3 trillion. We need $3. So she did, but she did before that. She was taking over from Sheila Jackson Lee, the study, but then she went back to the drawing board. It's like, okay, they're not going for that no more. So let me talk about, actual numbers. So, and we ain't heard her say nothing else since. Last time I saw her, she was trying to go up into an ICE detention center. That was a couple of months ago. Hey, Brother Stephen, how you doing? Tell your wife we said hello. Showtime Writers Houston, he says rich Democrats benefit from those tax cuts too. You're absolutely right. Tiff says Kamala rather lost than offer us anything. Well, that's what happened. Carmen says all the Democrats have to do is just try at least. Heck, they rolled the 1964 Civil Rights Bill for 61 years. Yep. And Cricket Crazy, I'm sorry, says he's going to figure out homegrowns after this. Shaw, did I say hello to you? Not hello. He says, I would never believe the Dems if they said they give us reparations. They hate us too. Yes, Melvin Johnson, how you doing? He said, you're just seeing us and we're just seeing you. MC Fact, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. He says, when are you going on again this week? My aim is to go live every day throughout the week, including Sunday. That is my goal, 5 o'clock every night. Try not to go as long as an hour, but every day just to come before you and talk about something. Y'all see how I'm sweating? Just started sweating all of a sudden.
No, let's get to the meat and potatoes before we close this out. You guys, look, I was in the DR and there's a petition with a lot of our co-hosts. They saw a picture of me with my shirt off as I'm walking the beach, and they say that should be Demetra's background. Okay. And I had the Speedos.
And that's why they deported you. They said, absolutely not, okay? You're smuggling grapes. We absolutely would not have you smuggling grapes in Speedos around here. You must go to the nearest airport. There's a TSA. Don't stop them. Just let them go right through. We believe that he doesn't belong here, okay?
I just can't get no respect around here. I can't get no respect.
Yeah, I think about that background picture. Lisa Gibson, how you doing? That Brooklyn, now you talk about jumping beans. I'm mad that you put that image in my head. I tried to fight it. I tried to not to think about the jumping beads and the Speedos, but yeah, Marcellus. Surprise, surprise. Kermit says, nah, hold that picture, baby. OnlyFans there, it might already be on there. You know, they saw Donovan Saadiq on the beach in his Speedos, and they trying to get people. I heard they lowered the price of that OnlyFans channel to 50 cents. They said 50 cents and you could come get all the iFools that you want. Carlos, how you doing? Says check first before any vote. Okay, Matthew says, Demetri, keep doing your thing. I shall. And I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. So listen, we're going to get out of here as we're on here. Donovan ain't lying about the Speedos. He says every beach he touched in this world, the Speedos is going to see, those people on the beach don't see his Speedos. And I've seen them more times than I care to admit. I'm going to tell you something, though. There must be some magical Speedos, though. Because one time we was on the beach, was in the Seychelles, and this white woman that looked like leather. He was in the water doing his, don't miss that party train. The Gap Band had them Speedos on. He was doing that, splashing the water around. Yeah. And then this white lady came up. She was like, oh, now I didn't get in the water. I'm not a water type of girl. I was standing on the beach, just looking. I said, look at here. I took a picture. I got to find it. And Donovan was, I don't know, she's trying to get him to go back to the hotel, coconut tree or whatever. But he was having a nice little conversation. And I was like, it must be the Speedos. Salam, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. She did look like a burnt piece of leather. She did. She was well done. She was trying to lure Donovan back. I was like, man, I might need to go help my friend. He might come up missing, kidnapped. We didn't have to get Nancy Grace. He was on the beach in them Speedos with the grapes. And the last person to see him alive was a white woman that looked like leather. EW, how you doing? Anyway, let us get out of here before we lose the rest of our mind that we got. See, Sweet Daddy Kool-Aid, you remember that video? The party train? That's what Donovan was doing. We love y'all. See y'all later. I'll be here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Peace.